let's let's talk about Portland. You know, Portland's first. Let's first talk about Terry Stotts. Terry's report came out yesterday that Terry Stotts and the Portland Trailblazers are going to part ways. I look at Terry Stotts just like I look at Scott Brooks, or I look at Scott Brooks just like I look at Terry Stotts. While I believe they're a good coach, I think they've plateaued. I think, while Portland did make it to the Eastern or Western Conference Finals a couple years ago, they've been bounced out the first round for the last 5 years. And while, you know, a coach, I'm not saying that a coach is bad, but sometimes the coach loses his voice, loses the locker room. I'm not saying that they just, you know, don't listen to him at all, but sometimes the voice gets stagnant. Sometimes the voice gets familiar, and it's just like, all right, bro, it is what it is. And I think that's where I think that Portland reached that point with Terry Stotts. And again, with a team that has Damian Lillard, with a team that has some of the pieces that they have, there should be no reason why they have been bounced out the first round 4 of the last 5 years. So I understand, and I think that the writing's been pretty much on the wall since the season started that Terry Stotts was going to be out after this season, barring they go on an incredible run in the playoffs, which obviously they didn't. So they're going to be in the coaching hunt, and another report came out saying that Damian Lillard is going to have a big say-so in who's going to be the next coach, which he should. He's definitely the star of the team. He's one of the best point guards of a generation. So Portland is in a flux right now as far as coaching. But Portland, when we talk about Portland, a lot of people talk about the unfortunate events that Portland faced. Of course, we talk about Sam Bowie getting drafted over Jordan, but Sam Bowie was incredible in college. Sam Bowie was way better than Jordan in college. So, like I said, hindsight's 2020. There's no way. Well, you could have, but if Sam Bowie would have never got hurt, he could have been good for Portland. Not to mention Portland had Clyde Drexler, so you're not going to get a shooting guard. Brandon Roy, injuries, could have was an incredible player. Greg Oden could have been one of the best centers in the generation. Injuries. So Portland, in that sense, you can't really blame Portland. These players were good in college. These players were good in the league as far as Brandon Roy. And they just didn't, due to injury, which you can't really predict, it just didn't work. That is what you cannot blame Portland for. What you can blame Portland for is, and I tweeted this, Portland, ever since, I can't remember a time, maybe the Wesley Matthews, Nicholas Batum days, but I can't remember a time where Portland loses, and Portland loses the same way year after year after year, and they have the same problem year after year after year. And what is their problem? One, they suck defensively. They are god awful defensively. Yeah, I know they thought that Robert Covington was going to come in at least this year and patch up the defense, but when everything else is not a defender, no. When Norman Powell, who is a fringe defender, is your second best defender, it's not going to work. They have had a lack of ability. Their lack of ability to find and get defensive players is mind-boggling to me, because it's not just a 1-2 year thing. They've struggled with this since Clyde Drexler days. And we really need to sit and really examine. Have you really, we talk about all the time how Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are one of the top backcourts in the league. We always talk about offensively, they are one of the top backcourts in the league. Now, when you look at all the top backcourts in the league that we talk about Clay and Curry when Clay is healthy. Of course, now you can throw in Kyrie and James Harden, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. The problem is, though, when you listen to that, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. Who is the worst player out of that list? It's CJ McCollum. And while CJ McCollum has had some incredible games, CJ McCollum has shown, in my opinion, that he is not a consistent number two. Klay Thompson is a consistent number two. As we're seeing this year, Kyrie has kind of formed himself into a consistent number two. CJ McCollum has not. And it's time, man. I think it's time to blow it up. And here's why I say that. And when I say blow it up, you solely have to look at CJ McCollum, because you can get another CJ. You're not getting another Dame. Damian Lillard is one of the best, arguably right now. People can have an argument and say that he is a top 10 point guard of all time. I'm not saying I'm having that argument, but there are people that are saying that right now, Damian Lillard can be one of the best point guards of all time. You're not going to get another Dame. You can get another CJ. And it's not just on CJ, but when you look at the team that they build around Dame, Nurkic, who dealt with injury last few years, but he's good offensively, but terrible defensively. Enes Kanter. The running joke is Enes Kanter all he does is catch rebounds and putbacks because he's not good anywhere else. Carmelo Anthony. His entire career was scoring, never defense. Norman Powell. On and off. Robert Covington. The dude missed a dunk. Damian Lillard dropped 55. And Robert Covington missed a wide open dunk. And CJ McCollum forgot the diameters of the floor and stepped out of bounds. I think it's time, man. I think maybe should have been time a couple years ago. But that Western Conference Finals definitely kind of like, oh, maybe this is no. I think it's time. I think you have to break up Dame and CJ. I think you can get some pieces for CJ. I think you can get a defender. I think you can get another scorer. I think you can get some pieces for CJ and some draft picks. And maybe see what you can get for Enes Kanter. I don't know. But I think it's time, man. I think we've seen as far as Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum together can take them. And you're not going to get another Dame. You can get another CJ. And I just think for too long, Portland has struggled defensively, and Portland has lost the same way year after year after year. When they played against Denver, Damian Lillard's going crazy, dropping 55, going crazy. CJ McCollum is having a bad series, and they can't defend anyone. Going against Golden State in the Western Conference Finals with what's his name? Kevin Durant out. They can't stop Dre. They can't stop Curry. They can't stop Clay. They play them again. First round. Same thing. I just think that we've seen the ceiling that CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard can take Portland. And especially with no defense around them, I think you have to break it up. I think that iteration of that backcourt has run his course, in my opinion. And CJ is a great player, but I think we've noticed, and I think that we've seen, he is not a reliable two. Again, Klay Thompson is a reliable two. Kyrie now is a reliable two. I guess you can say either Anthony Davis or LeBron James. Ooh, no, we'll talk about them in a second. We've seen some reliable twos. Rudy Gobert, for what he is in Utah, is a reliable two. CJ McCollum just isn't. And, it's showing. It's glaring. And yeah. Hell, and when he gets back, due from injury, Jamal Murray's a reliable too at this point. So I just think it's time to blow it up for Portland. And when I say blow it up, you have to solely look at CJ, because you can get another CJ or get some players that can equal the production that CJ gives you. You will never get another Damian Lillard. And that's facts.